Okay. Hmm. Okay. Kamui, you had a segue.
I just gotta
Well,
ask
I mean,
what was the
we
whole
can still
purpose?
do it without Naiko, but I thought it'd be funny with Naiko.
Okay.
But we can do it with Hotboy, and everyone else here. So I added you in the whatever thing I added you in.
Yeah.
What did I get out of there?
This. Oh no.
So Hotboy, would you like to read what is circled on Oodie's share screen?
To have a crush on Sasuke. That's so unfortunate.
Used to have a crush on Sasuke.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
She used to.
Yeah,
She now has marital thoughts.
that crush within part one transformed and for Sakura's
Ooh.
purpose, it blossomed into love.
Okay. I like that.
In my deleted, or rather, in my privated Sakura video, I actually talk about this. How her superficial crush was actually, it didn't take too long in terms of the scope and the time span of the story for that to blossom into full-fledged love. That's like the whole point of like Sakura's plight when it comes to Sasuke, is because like the man she loves is still there and she knows he's still there. It's not just like a crush anymore. It was only ever a crush like pre tuning exams.
You would not like Cam's answer on what love is.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, love is like a tricky thing, though, right? Like it's kind of hard to pin down exactly what, like, everyone experiences love, maybe a little bit differently. Although it is like a universal, like there are things we can universally agree on about love. There are some nuances in it that's going to vary from person to person, right? Like how we
entirely subjective for sure.
Yeah, like Sakura's, but the love is definitely still there. Like you go back, like I think the perfect example of what I'm illustrating here is Sakura confiding in Sasuke when he's about to leave the village about how, like, rather than live a lonely life where without him, because you can only feel lonely without someone while still being in the presence of trusted, treasured comrades if you just love that person. And obviously her love was romantic, right? No one's going to argue that. Those words coming out of Sakura's mouth can only come from the lips of someone that is truly in love with the other person, right?
Don't tell Cam that's for sure.
Yeah, like, but she meant those words. Like, she was desperate. Yeah. I think this stuff is like pretty clear. Like, she hasn't had a crush on, so that's why she's so dedicated to him, or dedicated to reclaiming who she knows he can still be, because he displayed it too many times to ever trick someone into believing, or someone close to him, as close as her and Naruto were, to ever believing that he could become like a true, wholehearted, cold-blooded avenger, right? Like that's like the whole point of her desperate sprint toward Sasuke.
I have a half silly, half serious question.
Sure.
Do you think it's possible to both be in love with someone, like you genuinely love them, while simultaneously also having a crush on them? Can you do both at the same time?
Yeah, it's called being a cook.
What? Like, from what I understand, crush is something that comes before love. Like, the definition of crush is like something like, oh, I have some feelings about this person, whether it's their appearance, the way they speak, the way they talk, that I am attracted to. Therefore, I have a crush on them because I want to know to get them better in hopes that it blossoms into love. Doesn't necessarily mean you love them. Because you hear all the time, I had a crush on someone, and then I got to know them. Oh, bro, like, all red flags, I'm done, right? Like, crush is like a preliminary step.
They grew to love them. Like, so the point of this case is you grew to love them, but can you maintain the crush despite having developed it into true love.
No. You know
Isn't
why?
that contradictory?
Yeah, it is contradictory.
Not
You know why?
necessarily.
No, it
It
is.
could just
Here's
be
why.
additive.
Because guess what? Guess what crushes are? Crushes are they're an examination of someone's like most exterior persona, right? Nothing about it is very telling of the actual individual. That's why crushes will turn into, oh, I really like this person. That really turns into, I love this person, right? Crushes is that like preliminary step to like, hopefully I get to know this person better to see if they are worthy of me crushing on them. Right? Like that's what it means. Like you can't be crushing on
I
someone
am
while
looking up
loving them
definitions
because
of crush,
Oh.
and many of these are saying things that mean they could exist at the same time. So one of them is a strong, often temporary, infatuation or attraction towards someone. So usually someone you're not in a relationship with, but it's usually. So you could have an infatuation or attraction towards someone you're in love with. Another one is a crush is an intense feeling for someone that you can't control. Well, as Sakura said, she can't even stand it, so she can't control it. A strong feeling of romantic love for someone that is usually not expressed. Okay, well, you could express it, so I think it's possible to do both.
I mean, the issue I think here is like you're obviously playing devil's advocate and you're playing around with it, but like if I'll give you a serious answer for a second, like the way in which we use words is not necessarily hyper congruent with like how they're laid out definitionally, right? Because crush is used in a certain context and it means something. It generally means something. In how we use it in everyday society. I guess a good example of this is like no one who is married says, I have a crush on my significant other. That just doesn't happen. What happens is
Okay,
they're
I want
like,
you to
oh, I
say that
love
at
this
your
about
wedding
him.
just to prove him wrong.
Yeah. True. Actually, yeah, do that. That'd actually be based. Be like, I'm only doing this so that I can prove YouTuber Hotboy Spicy wrong that I talked to you like 5 years ago about this. That's based. You know, I give my seal of approval. I hope I'm there to witness it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Like I think these things are. Language is cool. How we use it is cool. And it's not necessarily one-to-one all the time, and how they're exemplified in the definitions. Yeah, but
I will have to agree with that. Having a crush is just the early development of having feelings for somebody else. Whether it's platonic or real love. You got to know
that's
the
like
first.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? Is because like love, like genuine love, is like accepting the parts that you couldn't see because you were blinded by the crush because you didn't know the person.
You're you're just young and you just didn't know what they were like. Outside of just that initial crush part.
Or you just didn't know them. You hadn't gotten close enough to them to know them, right? Which is why true love is like, I love you despite all these negative qualities that that I acknowledge, right?
Right.
And that is what Sakura was. Sakura knows Sasuke's negative quality, his propensity for solitude, his backwards revenge quest, yada yada yada. His abrasiveness, despite him hurting her while she's getting close to him, she sees all that good in him that she loves, and despite all that, she loves him. Right? That's like what love is, right? Yeah. Despite him hurting her, she loves him. Wow, that's crazy. That's so cute. Wow. I'm not Sakura, and I definitely would not love someone who tried to kill me. But hey, it's your life, girl.
Yeah, Kishimoto really cooked with that one.
I'll have to add some
He
of that
did.
to my Sakura script.
Hell yeah.
I want to mention this regarding the Sakura Sasuke thing. And I want to mention this because I feel like people overlook this very often. And they always say this about Sakura and Sasuke. They're like, well, how could she possibly love him? He tried to kill her. Stuff like that, right? I think there's a lot of criticisms you could make about Sakura and Sasuke's relationship and how Sakura feels about Sasuke. I think there's a lot. I think that one is not one of them. And the reason why is because they're soldiers. They're fighting in war. They're gonna try and fight each other. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, I'd fucking throw hands with a dude, try to kill him, and then once the war's over, I might fucking marry him. Like, that's the kind of thing that happens in that environment. And I think when people say that it's a testament to how fucked up their relationship is, I don't agree. I think that they misunderstand the environment
I
and
think
they
that's
misunderstand the
Oh my God.
sense
We got
of what's happening.
we got my girl in here actually just spitting fucking beautiful word. Like you're actually, I'm in a field right now and flowers are just blooming by the facts you just enunciated.
Sakura flowers
in the
by
open air.
chance?
Yes, sakura
Hey,
petals are
yo.
blooming everywhere. Hold up.
Sakura
This
petals.
is very true. This is very true. And fortunately or unfortunately, given your perspective, the Kage Summit stuff is going to go one way or the other in your mind. The issue is that like Sakura was listening to what Sasuke was saying. There's like a root to his madness. He's not just mad. Like the system made him what he is, and Sakura is immersed in that system enough to be able to acknowledge it and to be able to see, oh, we, as in the shinobi as a whole, made him the way he is. And unfortunately, he's been affected more by it than me because of the status of the Uchiha, right? That's all that means. Like the
Oh, yeah.
insanity. He is a product of something much worse than himself. It's like
Oh, yeah.
he's unfortunately been
Absolutely.
poisoned, by the like what you're saying is completely true. Like even when looking at these individual scenes with them interacting, it's toxic because the world is toxic. The relationship is
It's
the way it
toxic
is.
because the world is toxic.
Yeah.
And this is all they know, so for them, this is normal. So sure, it's crazy for us, which is good. It should be crazy for us, It's sad to think about that this would be a normal for them, but
that's Hashirama's mistake.
it's a war-ridden world.
Yeah.
It's a war-ridden world. I mean, honestly, all things considered, for such a dramatically war-ridden society, they're actually doing pretty good. Like, they're pretty sane, all things considered.
I mean, Sakura did start.
So what you're saying
therapy.
is Minato is not a psychopath.
I was thinking the same thing, Kamui.
My God.
I just didn't want to.
True.
Is Minato a psych?